everyone, Happy New Year and welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, hi, my name's Claire and this is Joli. And for my first video this year, I thought I would take you through my top 10 favourite houseplants from the past year, as well as showing you some amazing ones that are on my wish list for 2022. So, for the last 12 months, the first one on my list is my ANTHURIUM VEITCHII. It's one that was on my wish list for such a long time, and I finally got it a couple of months ago. I've had wish list plants before that I've got really hyped up about, and then when I actually get them, it's almost a bit of an anticlimax. But with this one, I literally look at it every single day like, I can't believe I have this plant. That almost kind of like ruffled texture of the leaves is just so gorgeous, and it's honestly just the most beautiful plant. It's also just such a chilled, easy to care for houseplant. It's one that I literally haven't had to worry about at all. So if you're wanting to add more kind of rarer plants to your collection but are worried about killing them, then I would definitely recommend this one. I found my VEITCHII fairly cheaply on eBay. I've had very mixed experiences with buying plants on eBay before, but luckily this time I found the most amazing seller and it arrived literally in perfect condition. Next on my favourites list for 2021 is my Philodendron ERNESTII. I haven't talked about this one that much on here yet, but honestly, I'm absolutely obsessed with it. It's got a really similar kind of indented vein pattern to the last one, which, I don't know, there's something about that just really gets me. It's just gorgeous. It almost doesn't look real. It's a ridiculously fast growing plant. I actually bought my one as a cutting about 4 months ago, and it's already given me 2 new leaves, third one on the way, which at this time of year is amazing. On that note, with this plant, if you're torn between getting a cheaper cutting or a more expensive, well-established plant, I would honestly recommend going for the cutting because they do grow so quickly. I just want to say all of the plants that I'm talking about aren't in any particular order. I did try and go through and put them in an order, but I'm ridiculously indecisive, so decided not to. So this order is totally random. This next one isn't particularly rare, but it's the bird of paradise. These are one of the first plants I fell in love with, even before I knew anything about houseplants, just because I love the look of them. And so after years of pining after it, I finally got one in 2021. Yeah! Again, this one's super low maintenance. I've only had to water mine about every 3 weeks or so far. So as long as they've got enough light and humidity, they are pretty easy plants to keep happy. If you're looking for something to give your house that really kind of tropical, jungly vibe, then these ones are absolutely perfect. They can also grow to be huge, which I'm really hoping my one will one day. She's already given me 2 new leaves in the time that I've had her, so I'm really excited to see what she's going to do when the weather clears up a bit. But yes, I will keep you updated. I wasn't sure whether or not to include this next one, just because it's also the plant that I'm struggling with the most at the moment, but I still love it, so I thought I would. It's the ANTHURIUM WAROQUEANUM. I showed you guys this one about a month ago when I first got it. It'd been on my wish list for absolutely ages, and then I stumbled across one really cheaply on Etsy and decided to take the risk. It arrived with some underlying issues, the main one being root rot, which has been really difficult to treat because its root system's so small. It's one that I'm being very cautious with and I'm so scared about losing. So yeah, I'm hoping this year has some magical recovery plan up its sleeve for it. The Etsy seller that I bought it off, who I won't name, had a load of really rare, really cheap houseplants and probably about a 50-50 mix of amazing and terrible reviews. So really I should have been more wary, but I just gave it the benefit of the doubt because it was an amazing deal. It's just one that I wouldn't have been able to afford at its normal price. They can go for up to about £400, which is crazy. So I found this great bargain and just jumped at it without properly thinking it through. So yeah, remember that, people, before jumping in headfirst for a good price. Besides the fact that mine's in rehab right now, it is still such a special plant, and despite all the struggles it's putting me through, it is still 100% one of my favourites. They're not the easiest plants to care for anyway, and are known for being slightly temperamental, so I definitely would not recommend them for beginners, but if you do decide to invest in one, I would just say, make sure you do your research and get it from a good, reputable seller. Hello. Oh, hello, baby. Oh, she's off. Next up is my ALOCASIA Black Velvet. At the beginning of 2021, these plants were actually considered really quite rare and very expensive to buy, but I think just because the demand for them has gone up so much in this past year, I actually bagged mine fairly cheaply. You can now find them for under £10, which is absolutely crazy because this time last year, you'd be lucky to find one for under 30. They've got the most gorgeous dark velvety leaves and are just so beautiful to look at. Alocasias in general can be quite fussy plants, so perhaps again not the best beginner plants, but with a proper understanding of what they like and don't like, they're actually fairly chilled once you figure that out. So yeah, just get to know them. Those dark leaves and white veins just look so dramatic and elegant. I'm absolutely in love with mine. They can also be really fast growing plants if you keep them in the right conditions. Another anthurium that became a true favourite of mine over the last year is Anthurium clarinervium. Similarly to the last one, it's got those beautiful white veins and dark leaves, which is just stunning. This is another rarer anthurium that is really, really easy to care for. So if you're new to houseplants and want to add something a little bit more unusual to your collection, then I would highly recommend this one. They're not the cheapest plants in the world, but again, over this last year, I've noticed the price of them slowly starting to drop. This one was hit really badly with thrips over the summer, but touch wood, she's bounced back, is really, really healthy again, and yeah, long may it last. In this last year, I've also become so fascinated with pollinating anthuriums to create amazing hybrid plants. If you've been watching my videos recently, you will have seen the clarinervium seeds I planted about a month ago. They're some sort of hybrid, I think, but I have no idea what yet, so I'm so excited to see what they turn into. If anyone's interested in anthurium pollination or growing them from seeds or seed germination, anything like that, then do let me know and I'll definitely make some content on it this year because I genuinely find it so fascinating and definitely want to start doing it more. Also, let me know any other types of plants that you've pollinated or grown from seed because I would absolutely love to get some ideas off you guys that I could try this year. This next one, again, isn't rare in the slightest, but it's just one of my all-time favourites and has firmly remained on my top 10 list this year. It is the string of pearls. It's been a favourite of mine for ages and has given me so many little babies from propagations over the years. When kept in the right conditions, these plants can grow like crazy and be really, really hardy. They are, however, ridiculously sensitive to overwatering, and I think that's where a lot of people tend to have issues. I always just think of less as more with my one, and touch wood, she's doing really, really well. She even flowered a few weeks ago under my new grow lights, which she's never done in winter before. So I think that definitely helped bump her up onto this list. They're such easy plants to propagate. There's a few different ways that you can do this. I have made a video with more details on this. But yeah, they're just great plants to have if you want to add more plants to your home for free. So yeah, as I say, not the rarest or perhaps most exciting plant on my top 10 list, but it is a solid favourite of mine. This next one's another all-time favourite, and the more time goes on, the more and more obsessed with her I become. It's my big variegated Monstera. I'll pop a picture in from this time last year so that you can see how much she's grown in the last 12 months. It's honestly insane. But yeah, although she's not highly variegated, I just love her so much. I've thought about chopping her back to encourage the variegation so many times, but I've come to love her just the way she is, so I'm just going to chop her when she physically can't fit in the room anymore. I keep picturing my future dream house with either really high ceilings or an indoor balcony, and I can just let her climb all the way up the wall one day. The variegated monsteras that I've got are albos. I've got a smaller one behind me here, and they are really, really easy to care for so long as you make sure that their environment's right. It kind of goes without saying as well, having shown you my big one, but they are ridiculously fast growing. I've shown you cuttings from my smaller plant before as well, and in general, they're really easy plants to propagate. So again, if you're debating whether or not to buy a plant or a cutting, I would say a cutting's fine. However, if you're not that experienced when it comes to propagating plants, I'd probably advise getting either a cutting or wet stick that's already rooted. Next is my white princess philodendron. I got her at the beginning of 2021 as a small cutting, and she has honestly just grown an insane amount in the last year. Again, she's a really chilled, easygoing plant with such beautiful variegation, and when kept in the right conditions can be really low maintenance. They're also really great houseplants to propagate. I haven't actually tried it with my one yet, but I'm tempted to give it a go this year, so if anyone wants to see that, let me know. These plants are still considered fairly rare right now, although the prices for them are really dropping at the moment. I think again because the demand for them is so high. I tend to buy most of my rarer plants as either cuttings or wet sticks just because it's so much cheaper and I really love watching them grow. So the last of my favourites for 2021 is my Philodendron BRANDTIANUM. I'm such a sucker for plants with a bluey silvery tint to their leaves just because it looks so unusual, and this one definitely does it for me. Before I got my BRANDTIANUM, which was about 3 months ago now I think, I was slightly nervous because I heard that they were notoriously hard to look after. Touch wood, I'm probably going to jinx now, but touch wood so far, she's been super easy. I did quite a lot of research into what these plants do and don't like before I got mine, and I think Again, on the whole, once the conditions are right, she more or less just likes being left alone to do her thing. I made her a little moss pole in one of my recent videos, so I'm really hoping that soon she'll start to kind of grip on and climb a bit. I'm also really tempted to chop and propagate her at some point, but I don't know. I might do that this year too, maybe. I realise that most of the plants I've spoken about so far have been quite rare ones. There's loads and loads of common houseplants as well that I absolutely love, but these have just been some wish list plants that I've obsessed over in the last year. Do let me know in the comments below what your favourite plants have been this year, or what your favourite plants are right now. I had to stop filming because Joli was asking to go out. I took her out for a walk and got absolutely drenched, hence the costume change. But moving on to my wish list plants for 2022. I'm not saying I'm actually going to be able to take all of these plants off my list, but I'm dreaming. I can dream. So, top of my list, and one that I've wanted for absolutely ages, is Philodendron MAMEI. It's got similar kind of vibes to my Brandtianum that I showed you before, but it can grow to be huge, and I just love it. It's still considered fairly rare here in the UK, although I have seen some cuttings going recently that are more affordable, so if I could tick that one off my list this year, I would literally be over the moon. Another philodendron that I'm absolutely desperate to bag is a variegated BURLE MARX. I've already got a standard non-variegated one that I absolutely love, but I just think the variegated ones are so stunning. You can get small ones nowadays for around 20 to 30 pounds, so I'm really hoping this is one I will be able to add to my collection this year. Fingers crossed, I will keep you posted. For ages as well, I've been wanting to get my hands on an ANTHURIUM radicans. I just absolutely love the texture of the leaves. And like I said earlier, I've become really interested in pollinating anthuriums, and so I'd absolutely love to potentially cross-pollinate that one with one of my existing ones. ANTHURIUM REGALE is another one that I've been ogling over. It's been on my wish list now for absolutely ages, but here in the UK it's still fairly expensive to buy. I've been scouring the internet trying to find berries or seeds for sale, but so far no luck. They're really hard to come by, but I would absolutely love to grow one myself, so if anyone's got any leads, please do let me know. I could go on and on about my wishlist plants because honestly my list is huge, but I'm going to finish with this one, and that's Alocasia MELO. I've seen this plant pop up a lot recently, and I always really try not to be swayed by things that I see online on social media, but is this or is this not the most photogenic plant you've ever seen? The texture of the leaves and the colour of them just make it look like some sort of weird alien plant, which I absolutely love. So yeah, that one is also very high on my list. Do let me know in the comments below what some of your wish list plants are for 2022. I would absolutely love to know and potentially add some of them to my list too. Not that I need any more on my list, it's becoming slightly dangerous. As I said earlier, I'm aware that a lot of the plants I've spoken about in this video have been quite rare. I have also got a load of more common houseplants on my wish list as well, but these are just the ones I wanted to talk about today. I did also make a video recently about cheap houseplants you can buy for under £10 that I absolutely love, so I'm definitely not forgetting about them. I really hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please make sure to give it a thumbs up, subscribe to my channel, have a lovely day, and I'll see you in the next video.